Hey, what's good, fam? Agent O here. And what you guys see before you, you can't even see it all because it's taken up like most of my display desk. But this is the Final Fantasy VII Remake PlayArts Kai Cloud Strife with the Hardy Daytona bike. This is part of that first class edition. I've always been a big fan of Final Fantasy VII. I admit now that I definitely admit it is an overrated game because of all the hype that people have put behind it. It's just become overrated, even though I still think it's a great game, but I will definitely acknowledge that fact as well. But this was the game that got me into playing Japanese RPGs in the first place, and this is the box with the PlayArts Kai figure and bike in it. It's freaking ginormous. Like, I'll have to pull my camera back so you guys can get an idea of how big this box is. It's stupid. It really is stupid. But yeah, this is it. It's funny how they packaged it because they put it in a box and then put that box in another box. I'm not even kidding you. And then they had these like these things on the corners of it to protect the box, and somehow my box still came damaged. As you can see on the bottom, there's this gaping hole. But you know, like I've always told you guys, I don't really give a damn about the box. Never have, never will. It's what's inside that matters, and if the box can look good and it can look pretty and all that stuff, but if what's inside is a piece of crap, then it's just a piece of crap wrapped in a nicely neat package. And you know, this is simple. It's just all black with the logo on the front, some stuff on the back, seal of approval, so you know that this isn't a bootleg, which is always nice. But yeah, enough about this. Let us crack the shell open so we can get to the nuts inside. It's a little Transformer reference. And here we have Cloud, the PlayArts Kai Cloud rendition that you know you're gonna see in the Final Fantasy VII Remake game. It's a little hard for some. He's got ratcheted everything, so I can't exactly get his feet in just the right position where he'll hold a pose, which is kind of annoying. So right off the bat, like, great things are happening. But don't get me wrong, this isn't a bad figure. It's just, it takes some getting used to. And I haven't bought a PlayArts Kai figure in a very long time. I haven't bought one of the newer ones. I bought the first time they did the Advent Children Cloud with his bike Fenrir. I bought that, and then I ended up getting this one also, this version of Final Fantasy VII, the PlayArts Kai. It's the bike and all that, but this is the older version of it, and the older, much smaller version. This guy is tall, not quite 12 inches. He came in at about 10 and I want to say 10 and a half inches tall, I think was what I measured. Yeah, a little over 10 and a half inches, almost 11 inches tall. I don't know why they went with this scale. Maybe they wanted to charge us more money. I really couldn't tell you. I don't know if that's the size that all PlayArts Kai figures are right now either, because like I said, PlayArts Kai it's not a line that I buy a lot of. So anybody who does, if you want to chime in the comments below, please feel free to. But aesthetically, you know, talking about the way this figure looks, it looks pretty good. He looks like how he looks in the game. I really do dig the head sculpt. I'm not sure how I'm going to show it to you. I'm going to like twist his neck a bit. But yeah, I dig the head sculpt a lot. You know, he's a beautiful boy, whatever that means. But yeah, I like the hairstyle. The way the hair is sculpted looks really good. The paint apps on it are really nice too. The paint apps on his face are pretty sharp. I mean, there's not much, just in the eyes, the eyebrows, and the lips. But the sculpt is pretty smooth. Yeah, I mean, textures on his, you know, clothing look all right. You can see on the back, the paint apps are pretty nice. I did get a few flecks here and there, like there's a paint fleck on the arm, the forearm, but it's whatever. Other than that, I mean, it looks good. It looks like it looks like it's up to the standard of all the other PlayArts Kai figures, and it damn well better be for how much I paid for it. I'm not gonna get into what that cost is, but y'all know that this thing wasn't cheap. It's nutty how much this cost, but I figured I'm pretty much getting the game for free because what I'm paying for is the figure and the bike. So the game is pretty much free at this point with how much with what their asking price was for the first class edition. I'm hoping they don't do this again because I don't have another first class edition money if they do it for the sequel to this game, because I'm sure they're going to be doing a sequel. But yeah, overall I think this figure just looks pretty decent. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of the PlayArts Kai. I think their figures are okay. So I'm just going to jump right into the articulation. And like I showed you guys earlier, I'm going to adjust the camera a bit so you can see his head. You know, he's got I think his heads are on a double ball joint. I'm not going to pull it apart to see, but you've got a lot of range of motion. He looks all the way down. He can look all the way up. His hair, his spiky hairdo doesn't get in the way. It's like he's constantly in Super Saiyan mode. He's got good rotation. Like there's no restrictions on his head whatsoever. This shoulder pad doesn't get in the way. It's on like this strip of plastic you can see in there, and that strip of plastic is connected to the shoulder, so it doesn't get in the way at all of any of the range of motion of the arm. The arms are on this like double peg swivel joint. So you got the rotation back and forth pretty far, up and down. It's about, if you really push it, that's about as high as it'll go. I really wouldn't push it that much farther beyond. It's got bicep swivel, which I'm always a fan of. It's got single jointed elbows. It looks like he doesn't have a wrist swivel, but it's in the elbow, so you can twist it however you want. You know, either way, there's pretty good range of motion on that. And he's got peg swivel hands, double peg swivel hands, or you know, wrist. So you just rotate it, and you know, the hand rotates all the way around. Removing the hands is putting them on and off is a bit of the pain at first, but the more you keep doing it, it's like the hands, I guess, get used to the mold. They get used to being stretched out. So yeah, I mean, so you just got to keep playing with it because it was hard at first. As far as the diaphragm joint, he's got a lot of upward movement, and he's got a lot of movement at the hips too. So he can go down about that far, and he can go back about that far. I think you can even, I want to say, yeah, he can go back that far. I'm not really used to pushing these. I don't want to push this figure too much because I don't want to break it. Because this was an expensive figure, so it might not look like it can, like he's got that much range of motion, but he probably does, and I'm not forcing it because like I said, I don't want to break this thing. As for the hips, the hip piece, it's kind of annoying because even though it's got cuts in it to allow for range of motion, like here and here, it's still a bit cumbersome when you're trying to get this guy into some dynamic poses, because you'll move his legs, and then this will get like underneath the hips will get underneath like the leg pieces, and then it just looks really stupid. It looks really bad. So you have to kind of play around with it, and then try to get the underwear part, I guess the midsection part, over top of the thighs. And there is some swivel in the upper thigh, but really there's a thigh swivel joint much like the, I guess, like Marvel Legends style, so it's not really hidden. Some people don't care about that. It's not that huge of a deal to me, just because the thigh swivel is just a straight line, and since he's wearing baggy pants, it doesn't look too far off to me. He has double jointed knees. You can see in the back, those are some really big knee joints, and since everything's on a ratchet, you get a lot of it'll hold the pose, which is nice. His ankles also ratcheted. I mean, you can hear it. You can twist the ankles. He's got toe point. You can get the ankle rockets, but the easiest way I found to get it, because you can't just tilt it. You have to bend the knee up, twist it, and then bend it back. You have to pretty much turn the ankle 90 degrees, then turn the foot back, and then you got ankle rockage. I don't care for this. I hate this actually, but since this figure's so big, it actually works for this figure. But I like the ease of, I like it when it's easier, like how on certain figure arts, the ankle rockage is built in, and it's not built like this. This is a little bit more annoying to deal with, and it can be kind of a pain in the butt to finagle it back into place, depending on what kind of poses you want to get. As I was posing this figure earlier and taking pictures, I was getting a lot of like flaking coming out of the figure. This is one of the things I didn't like, and I'm afraid it's coming off of the ratcheted joints. I've even got a little bit of it now on the ground, on the table, and that bothers me because it makes me afraid that I'm already starting to weaken the joints in this toy without in the legs and the hips, without even having to play with it that much, and that can be a potential problem in the future if your ratcheted joints get weak, and then he's not able to hold poses, because he's kind of a hefty figure. His legs are solid plastic, so he's got weight to it. He's got weight to him, and the weight doesn't feel distributed as good as it could be. He's kind of light up top, which is fine, and he's heavier on the bottom. You think he'd have a lower center of gravity, but not really. So you will use the stand a bit, and the stand is kind of cool. I'll show that right now. You know what? I'll wait on the stand. Let me get to his accessories. We'll start off with his classic Buster sword. Looks pretty good. Looks just like just like in the show. I mean, I dig the paint apps. They make the actual sharp edge looks like metal. So yeah, I mean, pretty decent sculpt, pretty decent paint apps. He also has on the back for storage. He has a removable back peg. I'll show you. It's this like big screw right here. You can just kind of pull it out, and then he's got a peg that you insert so that you can store his sword on his back. Just kind of work it in there, and it doesn't matter which hole you use. I prefer this one because it puts the handle up higher, so you can do poses where he's reaching back for it, where he's kind of reaching back for the sword to pull it out and use. So yeah, he's got that going for him. It's not bad. This is pretty nice, pretty decent. Like I said, some of these joints in this figure has some tight joints and some tight peg holes, which, like I've always felt, it's better for it to be really tight than to be really loose. Nobody likes loose holes. He also comes with a total of 5 sets of hands. He has the fists. He also, crap, I have to pull all these out of the bubble wrap or the blast packaging. So he has his relaxed posed hands, both the right and left hands, as you can see. And the sculpting on these looks pretty good. These are the hands for riding his Hardy Daytona bike. I don't know why they call it that. I think they wanted I think it's Harley, but they can't use Harley because, you know, if you Japanese pronounce the R's like L's, so it'd be like the Harley Daytona bike. But like I said, I don't think they have the rights to that, but that's what I think that's what they really wanted to call it. So they get away with it by doing the Hardy Daytona. These are sword holding hands. Oops, sorry. I'm used to my camera being at an angle. But yeah, these are the holding things hands for the sword, but these are at an angle so you can actually point the sword. And he has another set of sword holding hands, but these hands hold the sword straight up. You can tell by the angle of where the sword handle is supposed to go in the sculpt. And you know, overall these are all sculpted pretty nicely. No complaints there whatsoever. Since I said this is my first time buying a newer Player's Kai figure. I pulled all this stuff out earlier, but so you have to bear with me. This is a weird stand. Definitely not your conventional stand. Like, this is just a weird ass stand. It works though, because I used it in one of my pictures that I was shooting. But basically, this is part of the stand. Instead of having it be like an adjustable like arm with 3 points, it's just this piece, and you've got this hexagonal peg, and you just kind of stick it in, and you adjust the height, and you can adjust the angle. But yeah, this is the stand, and I thought it was gonna not really work that well, but it actually does work pretty well. You've got 2 different types of holding arms or pieces of different sizes. So, and these are adjustable. You'll need like a pair of pliers. That's what I used to adjust them, because they were pretty loose. Like this is loose. It's loose as hell. But when I was posing with it, I used my pliers to tighten it, and it worked. I had no issues. You know, and this is the piece. This is the piece that connects inside here, and then you put the pincers or whatever you want to call them. Connects up in here. You put the pincers in on the other end, and that's your stand. Like I said, it's very different. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of why someone would even buy this expensive thing in the first place, and that is the bike, the Hardy Daytona bike. Like, I saw this when I first saw the advertisement photos for this thing. I was like, yo, this is a definite get, because that bike is El Fuego. This bike is straight fuego. It's just really, really nice. It's ginormous. I don't have anything in scale that would fit on this bike properly. So I was like, yo, I'll use this for other characters. But since the figure's so big, and it's not quite 1/6 scale, and it's definitely not 1/12 scale, I can't put anything on it and it will look proper. So, you know, other Play Arts Kai figures, I guess, would fit on this bike. But yeah, bike looks really, really good. As far as I can tell, there's no area where I can put batteries in for it to light up like the Advent Children bike. The newer one that Play Arts Kai put out that was like over 300 bucks. But yeah, I've got no complaints whatsoever with this bike. Parts of it are metal. The kickstand itself is metal, and it does swivel all the way up. So, and I mean, the bike can sit on its own without the kickstand, but just for added safety, I like to have it down some. You can even lean it to the side like a real kickstand. Yep, as it rolls. As you can see, it has no problem rolling. You can lean it to the side or put it down a little bit more and it can sit straight up. The handlebars are adjustable. You can even take them out so that you can put the hands on them, the bike handle hands on them, and then reattach them. So like they're definitely adjustable in that way. And you know, they go up, back and forth, and you can even angle them out a little bit, but I don't think they're supposed to do that because they rub up against the front of the bike. And the display, you would think there's no display on the bike, but there actually is. You just have to pop it up like so, and you can see that there's a I don't know why my camera doesn't want to focus, but you can see it's got like a little dashboard display thing going on, like a digital dashboard, which is pretty cool. So I do also really like the paint apps that they did put on, especially on the exhaust piping. It gives it that titanium metal look to it with, you know, with some of the blues, and it's got a kind of a prismatic look to it. That's pretty damn nice the way they pulled that off. I was pretty impressed. Give you a view of that. And both wheels spin individually of each other, and this rotates for some reason. I don't really know why, but it does. Like I said, I wish there were, I guess it's good that it doesn't light up because I don't really need that, and I don't know how often I would use that feature anyway. But yeah, I mean, this bike looks fan-friggin-tastic. I'm pretty impressed. And like I said, this was kind of the main reason why I bought this. Here's the original, because I do have the original Cloud Strife and with the Hardy Daytona bike, but it's still in the package, so you can kind of see what it looks like, what the original bike looks like, what it looked like in the original game. I mean, you can always, it's kind of hard to see through the 2 layers of plastic that it's in, but you can always Google those images. There's plenty readily available on Google. But yeah, overall, if they had just sold the, I guess if they had just sold the bike separately, I probably would have just got the bike. The figure's not bad, but this is a figure that I feel like you're going to pose and not really do a whole lot with, unfortunately. It's not, like, you can get dynamic poses out of it, and that's all well and good. But like I said, I worry about I worry about some of the ratchets getting weak due to constant shedding. That's what I guess I'll call it, joint shedding, because you know that's definitely something I worry about. And I don't watch too many reviews on Play Arts Kai figures, and I don't own too many Play Arts Kai figures of the newer ones, so I don't know. I can't speak to how well these things do over time, but like I said, it's a decent figure. It's got decent range of motion. It's well articulated, so you're gonna get good poses out of it. And like I said, it's gonna be the only thing that really fits on this bike because of the scale, and they probably did that on purpose. because it's not quite 1/6 and it's definitely not 1/12. So yeah, I mean, I'm still pretty satisfied with my purchase overall. I'm not mad that I bought it. So that is gonna do it. If you guys like what you saw, please leave a like and subscribe, and also share with your friends. Turn on your notifications, even though I guess YouTube says even though I found out the notifications don't always work, but like I've said before, some notifications are better than no notifications. So yeah, do that if you want to stay up on my recently uploaded content, and hit me up on Facebook. I'm Agent Omega Man. I do have an Instagram. I think it's just Sir Agent O. Just do a search and I'll come up on there too. And that's gonna be it. So I'm going to pop this game in and start playing, and hopefully you'll see an upload of some at some point of my gameplay experience on my Agent OP channel, my gaming channel. So until the next time, I'll catch you guys later. I'm Agent O and I'm out. Peace.